joined by Professor Johnathan Rodrigues, affectionately known as Professor JoJo.
Man, it's a pleasure to be here with you guys. Can't wait to see what we're going to be talking about. Going to be super excited.
Thank you again for coming on. And every time I see you and every time we have a private chat, I want to make sure that I congratulate you on becoming a school owner and then becoming a dad again. How does that feel to be both of those things in the same year?
It's a challenge, but it's something it feels good at the end of the day, be part of the school and then working on your own business, having a family by your side and then having the training on the side as well. It's kind of like I'm trying to be like in three places at the same time. And it makes me like every time I do that, it makes me more stronger inside and mentally stronger as well. So it's super good to be at all those places and have all these functions at the same time, being a husband, a father, and a school owner, and not only a school owner, but a leader as well.
Absolutely. With everything that you just mentioned, how does that impact the home life? Like with your wife at home, and she's the actual homemaker that allows you to get out and do what you're passionate about since such a young age. How does that dynamic work with you guys?
Man, it works very well. She understands where we came from. And understands that this has been my entire life has been jiu-jitsu, and she's been part of this as well. She met me when I was a blue belt, and since then we've been together and having the family and having to be able to work with something that we love. She really loves the sport as well, and she came to the United States, leaving her family by the side, and to see that she came and she's on board with me on the side, it makes perfect sense for all of us,
Did that make you feel good as a potential husband at that time to have a woman that was willing to step out on the limb and go into a place that she didn't really know about? The only thing that she knew was that she loved you and wanted to be with you. Was that a tough decision for her, or did it come just natural, following her heart?
Man, in the beginning it was kind of challenging, because if I get into details a little bit, I came to Arizona not knowing when I was going to see them again. So we had a serious talk, and saying, I'm going to go there, I'm going to try my best to see what's going to happen. And I promise that I'm going to try to bring you guys here as soon as possible. When we blinked, it went 2 years, and I didn't see my son grow a lot, and that was the motivation to have one more kid in the house so I can be part of it as well,
I can see the love that you have for your son and now the new baby. Do you think that you try to make sure that you put aside special time for him as you're going through this busy day, knowing that you didn't have that time with him when he was smaller?
My brother, like I said, it's a challenge, everyday challenge, because we have to give attention to the school, have to give attention to the kids, the family at home. But it's been something that I've been working towards, working against to see what I can do. For example, I'll give a great example that I had yesterday. I had a few classes and a few privates that I had to do. And he came to me and he wanted to put his gi on. It's like, when's my class, So I had to give that special attention for him, and to be by his side and work towards there so he can understand that this is not only for me, but for all of us,
And that's the thing about you. I tell you quite often that you have this sense of calm. You have this, when you walk in the door, you scan everything, and you want to make sure everybody has the right experience. Particularly when it comes to those kids, I can tell you that you have an unbelievable rapport and trust within those kids. Do you primarily see yourself as bringing on the new generation of the athlete, or is that just your passion to see kids grow?
Man, if I tell you a little bit about all this story, because since day one, I started teaching jiu-jitsu for kids and adults when I was 16 years old, And coming from teaching in Brazil, we see a little bit about how the families are there,
Mm-hmm.
So I used to teach for free there. I used to try to do my best with my professor in Brazil to take all these kids out of the street so they can have a goal and have a mission, So, because the sport in general can change the mindset to the point that their minds are busy on something that is good for them and good for the environment and good for the family and good for the community and all the benefits comes with it, you know. So coming from that perspective and bringing it to a perspective that the parents motivate the kids, it makes totally sense for me to push and give 100% or not 110% to these kids that are on the mats. Not only the kids that are on the competition team, but the entire kids that are at the school. So to make sure that they really do this with passion and pass on the passion that I have to other people as well.
When you speak about the competitors, the people that you train and you put through the competition training, do you feel yourself? I know now that you go to a lot of those tournaments with the other kids. You're everywhere with those kids. Anytime your kids are going to get down, you're right there with them. Does that bring you? Does that bring you some excitement when you know that you poured everything into these kids and these kids gave you everything they had, and win or lose, they get out there and compete? Does that bring you a lot of satisfaction?
Yes, that brings a lot. And one of my main conversations with Professor Bruno, you know, he's my right arm on the competition team for the kids, and we try to make sure that these kids understand that they have to give 110%, right? They have to give the effort, even if they win or they learn or they win and they don't have the gold medal at the end of the day, but they have to give their 100% during the training and at the competition as well, because that's what we're doing for them, you know, and then that's what we expect from them as well.
I'll tell you, you have those. I can name a few, but it wouldn't be fair to the entire school. But you have a lot of monsters coming out of that school. I can tell you one student in particular, Luca. He was over at Peoria for a while, and you know he was challenged with some things, and just to see him a year later, it is unbelievable. Trimmed down, he's confident, he gets in there and mixes it up. Did you see something special, or did you take a different path to kind of get him to where he was just comfortable on the mat?
Man, I saw, like, how can I say it? Like, all the kids, man, all the kids that I teach and all the kids that I'm next to them, they're like little robots. You know, if you tell them they're gonna have to do it, they're gonna have to do it. In the beginning, you're right. They're coming from a different environment, coming from a different place. Maybe they're not used to that. But the kids, when you tell them, man, you gotta go, they're gonna go. And the more you tell them to push themselves, they will be pushed. You know, the kids don't have limit. You know, the sky is the limit for the kids. So that's one of the mindsets that I have for them, is that seeing Luca where he is, well, where he was right now and where he is at right now and where he can become, man, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, you definitely have a stable over there, and I think that speaks to you, the passion. You know, I'm one of your students now, and in me, I can feel the difference. I have a new voice. I have a different expertise that I can learn from you and the other coaches there. Do you see the adult athlete as much competitive as the children, or would you like to see more turnout when it comes to the adult?
Man, that's been the goal right now. After the last CompNet that we had, I wanted to make sure that not only our kids are growing into the sport, but not saying that the adults are growing, but we have to have the 50%, you know, have the adults that really want to do it and have the adults that wanted to do it just for a hobby, you know, and just have fun and not to compete. But I think in particular that competition is good for everyone, even if they're not competitors or hobbies, because it shows them what we're teaching them actually works, or if it not works, where they have to change their game. It could be changing their game at jiu-jitsu. It could be changing their game at maybe a more healthier way. But dealing under pressure, you know, with adrenaline, it makes a huge difference, because your daily life is that, you know. If you run a business, you're going to have pressure. You're going to deal with situations that you're going to have to be calm and in control, right? If you have a family, you're going to deal with the situations you're going to have to be calm and control, right? So it's very important that what the competition has taught me, you know, I want to be able to teach them all of that. But maybe not the mats is enough, you know. Maybe they have to compete to have that next experience, or maybe not. So it really is going to depend out of the person what they really wants, but whatever I can do to help them out, I'm there for them.
Just to piggyback off of that, we spoke briefly at CompNet, and I appreciate you taking the time. I had such a busy day that day, and you were talking about, and I'm paraphrasing, champion on the mat and off of the mat. how far do you think that you would want to reach? Not only the children, the kids, the adult, as far as understanding that you're learning a discipline, you're getting a new skill on the mat, and you're able to translate that into real life, so to speak.
So a champion on the mats and off the mats, right? It can describe many things, you know. So if you're dealing with a lot, if you're an adult and you're a business owner, you have a family, you're dealing with a lot. How can you become a champion outside of the mats with that? Is understanding that how to calculate things and how to manage things and the way you are right now, and then apply it, right? The right way. Mm-hmm. That makes you like, each fight is a fight. Each fight you have a strategy, right? And depending on the right strategy, the wrong strategy, you win or you learn. Mm-hmm. So the champion off of the mat is for you to understand that you, with the problems that you have to have a strategy to solve them, right? Mm-hmm. What is the right strategy for you to solve them, for you to become the champion off of the mat? Mm-hmm. On the mats, it translates exactly what I just said, is if you have each round in the competition or on the mats, let's say you have 4 sparrings, how can you win all 4 sparrings in a strategy point? You know, how can you solve those problems to the point that you are the champion? Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not saying that we're going to be handing out medals on the mats, but if you're able to apply what you learn on the mats from your daily life to your daily life, it makes a huge difference.
It does make a huge difference. And I think about situation to situation. Me joining jiu-jitsu at such a late age, I feel like that I've taken a lot out of it. Confidence, being able to meet and talk and to listen, to gain new family. Jiu-jitsu is my family now. And I'm very appreciative, which is the premise of this podcast. When you mention championing off the mat, do you get that vision from home, knowing how that you're going to lead your family? You just translate it over into the business?
My entire life, man. My entire life is full of problems that I'm trying to solve, you know, because running a school is not easy. Mm-hmm. They think that running a school it is, and everyone wants to have a school, but it's a challenge, you know, and I like challenges. I love challenges. Each challenge makes us stronger because we learned or we understood how to solve the problem to make us better in the next phase, you know? Mm-hmm. So having a family is another challenge, right? How can you solve the problems that are being in your family? Mm-hmm. Having a kid is another challenge, right? Mm-hmm. How can you teach them the right and the wrong thing, right? And then if a wrong thing happens, how can you solve that problem?
Right.
You know, so it's a daily life challenge. I think, in my point of view, I'm very young, but I've been introduced to a lot of things already. I have a lot of experience. So I can't wait to see what I can do in 5 years from now and 10 years from now, where I will be standing 10 years from now with all the experience that I've been having lately, and I can pass on to the students as well.
You mentioned about being young. You have accomplished such a huge goal by being your age right now, by becoming a school owner. At 16 years old, when you started coaching kids and adults, did you say, this is what I want to do? I want to have my own school one day to grow my own family, so to speak?
Man, it's a funny story. So when I was 16 years old, I only started teaching, to be honest, because I wanted to have my own money, you know, to not ask my parents to say, hey, I want money to go to the mall. I want money to go buy some shoes. I want money to buy a T-shirt. I wanted to be able to earn some money. But the only thing I knew how to do at that time that I was close approach was jiu-jitsu, right? So I talked to my professor. I see that I had an opportunity for me to teach at the school. And he told me that he had an opportunity, but it could not involve money, right? So the goal was money, now the goal is not money. He said the goal is even better than money, is for you to change people's lives. Is it for you to save people's lives and be a role model for them? Or nowadays we say a leader, you know? So I had all these kids, you know, from the streets that couldn't afford to train jiu-jitsu, and he put that responsibility on me, and I took it all in. I took it all in for me to teach, and then I started having that passion to teach when I was that age. At the same time, I was competing as well a lot, much more than I am not right now. And I used to use what I learned in the competition to pass on to them, and that's why I saw how important it was to compete, because I was a blue belt teaching jiu-jitsu, you know. I didn't have any experience to the point that I'm a black belt now and I have much more experience. How can I pass knowledge to these kids and the right technique at the right moment, at the right time is by competing. Because I was going to see if the technique was going to be doing right or wrong. I know if my technique was right or wrong. And I used that and pass it on to these kids. And I started with one person. When I blinked, I'd had over 20 kids on the mat. It was kids and adults at that time. I had over 20 people on the mats, and the kids were having results, and the kids were doing very good. And one of them was even here. You got to know him. His name was Eric. You know, he is the purple belt that was at North Phoenix for 3 months right now. He just went back to Brazil. He's proud of the project that we're from. He's proud of the results that me and my professor envisioned, right? And my professor still does an amazing job in Brazil. His name is Caio Gregório. He's a one in a kind, you know. Coming from Brazil, you know, you don't have any money. Coming from a poor family, you don't have any support, you know. And he's doing his part to use a jiu-jitsu as a tool, you know. Not use jiu-jitsu as a tool in a money way, but use a tool to save people's life. And that's what Master Carlos has envisioned, right? And that's what Professor Flavio has envisioned. And I saw those things coming together, and this is why I know this is in Arizona, this is the right place for me, because all of us have the same envision for our students and for the people around us, you know?
Coming here from Brazil, did you find it intimidating? You knew jiu-jitsu. You know jiu-jitsu. Did you find it intimidating having to face another challenge by coming here, not knowing anyone, not knowing the environment, and not having the fortune to go out and you know, just live like you wanted to live? Was that a battle for you?
Man, when I came to here to Arizona, yeah, it was challenging. You know, it was. I was afraid to things not go well, because I had not only me and the board. You know, I had my son and my Camila, and I didn't have my daughter at the time. But it was a challenge because you don't know if it was gonna go right. You don't know the people, right? You know, it's like, I don't know if it's gonna progress. And man, 4 years later, man, I'm as happy as I can be. I'm working with the thing I love. I'm surrounded with amazing people. You know, I'm surrounded with amazing students that care for me as well. And man, I'm super happy.
You know, I mentioned that you're my professor now, and just to walk in those doors and just to see that environment, people are happy over there. What do you think is your biggest secret sauce to keeping that place happy in a family atmosphere? What is the secret sauce?
Man, do everything with passion. You know, so one thing I told my parents and told Camila, you know, when I came here and when I decided to move the country, you know, to come here and work with jiu-jitsu, it was, I love jiu-jitsu. I love the sport. You know, there's no way for it to go wrong. If I was gonna work with construction, man, it was gonna go wrong. You know,
right?
Right. I'm still learning with that. She sees some things at home. She tells me, "Hey, Jojo, you have to put this on the wall. It might fall, it might not." You know.
Yep.
So yeah, but working with jiu-jitsu is something that I love, man. I love to be on the mats. I love to train. I love to win. I love to get smashed. Man, it's the environment that we create with one sport. You know, it's unbelievable what the sport can do for us and what it did for me, what it did for my family. What can it do for you?
Right.
You know, so that's why I think there's nothing to go wrong there.
Jiu-jitsu for everyone, right?
Exactly.
I mentioned about the environment that you have at North Phoenix. How does it feel for your school to be the headquarters now in Arizona?
To be honest, a lot of responsibility, man. It's a lot of responsibility, but it's nothing that we cannot handle. It's great to have Flavio. It's great to have Dave. It's great to have the whole entire team of Gracie Barra North America, Gracie Barra North Phoenix, man. I feel much more empowered. I have much more energy to say, you know, because, man, if the headquarters are there, not saying that that's the best school, you know, but it brings a lot of responsibility to me, and I'm gonna want to show the work even more, you know. One time, talking to Dave, we were talking about Tom Brady, you know, and man, I want to be a Tom Brady at Gracie Barra. You know, if I can do that, I can embrace what I know and the experience that I'm trying to thrive towards. Man, I'm in for it.
Tom Brady is the GOAT. You know that, right? So you want to be the greatest of Arizona, or
Everything.
that's what I'm talking
Everything
about.
I do, I want to be the best. You know, if I right now I'm not competing, but when I was competing, when I was focused on that, right, I didn't have kid, I didn't have a wife. Man, I wanted to be the best. You know, even if I didn't achieve to the highest. When I was training for the highest level, I wanted to train for the best. When when I'm running the school right now, I want to achieve for the best. You know, the best is the greatest. So you want to make sure that if I'm able to pass that passion on to the students, man, we're all in.
You mentioned competing. Do you see yourself getting to a point? I know everything is super fast speed for you right now with all of the things that you have going on. Do you see yourself in the next year or so setting aside time for yourself to sit down and say, okay, I'm ready to get back on the mat in a competition area?
I've been really trying. It's very hard for me to balance time, but I if everything goes well and I'm able to put everything in place and schedule everything I need to do, and I'm for sure I want to be back, you know, because I know how important is that for me. And if it's important for me, it's important for the school. It's what I love to do, you know. I went over there, you know, went to go compete, not putting this as an excuse. I had many things going on. I didn't have to go, you know, and I went there and competed. I lost. I learned what the loss, you know. And every time I've been competing now, you know, you're in the bullpen, right? There's many things that goes through your head. You've been thinking, you're like, man, why did I put my name? You know, I'm nervous and all that. And I saw, man, after all these years, man, I don't get nervous. I enjoy to be there, and it's what I love to do. You know, it's what I love to do. It not only teaching classes, is I like to compete. I like to be there. I surround myself around jiu-jitsu. Wherever jiu-jitsu, you're gonna see my face.
I know it.
If you like it or not.
I know it. You know, you mentioned nervousness. I was a coach at Peoria, and you know my primary responsibility was coaching the kids, which I enjoyed. Love working with the kids, coaching the kids, and then you come to CompNet or competition, and the kids are just so nervous. And I use myself as an example. I get nervous right when I have my toes at the edge of the mat, but when I shake hands, it's go time. That switch, do you think that switch is in a person, or is it earned, or a learned behavior?
Man, it's experience. It's experience, you know. I can use myself an example. And until my first year as a purple belt, I used to get nervous. I used to research the guys. I used to look, oh, this guy I want to compete. I know this guy. I'm nervous. This guy's good, and I'm not gonna win. I don't have jiu-jitsu for this guy. And my professor my professor used to say, man, he has 2 arms, he has a head and 2 legs. Man, if you cannot go over there and shake his hand and go, oh, you're not doing jiu-jitsu, you know? So throughout time, you know, you start getting mature. It's like what they say about men and women, right? Women mature more quicker than men, or there are men that mature quicker than women. So it's about mat time. The more you put yourself to something, you're gonna get used to it. So, for sure, when you had your first time here at the podcast, you have a hard time, right? Now it's easy. You're a black belt at this, man. I'm still learning. You know, I'm still learning how to talk even in the mic. But it's about how you put your time and put your energy into it, and if that really is your goal. So it's mat time. You know, it's for me. It took 10, 12 years. For you, it can take 5. For you, it can take 1 day. It's about the person, you know. Maybe the person are more timid. Maybe the person doesn't care. It's about the person and the experience, to be honest.
I think you're right about that mat time. You know, I came to you and I expressed my interest of competing in the nationals. And we had our quick little chat. And I was just so mad at myself last week because I couldn't get in and train. And as I told you, I'm trying to go hard up until the time you say, okay, now it's time to scale back. Do you think me at the age of 49, how tough or how much do you think I should train at the age of 49? And I'm speaking at 49, but I'm speaking for the older
Man,
adults.
it depends a lot on your background. So if your background was an athlete, go for it, you know, and then schedule your time. If your background was not an athlete, you're going to have to balance it, right? Because it all depends how hard you go and how quick you recover, right? How older you are, you're not going to recover as quick as that I am. So it depends a lot about your history, how you live your daily life, how you schedule your everything. So it depends on your past. If you have no experience at all, you know, how hard you go, it's gonna take time, you know. It's not about going hard, it's about going smarter too, you know. It's so, like we were talking that day, I talked to you that day, it's like, man, you don't have to pick up the person like that. If you do this here, you know, it's gonna be much more less effort. Maybe at your age you're gonna have to think more. A lot of comparison about adults and masters. And masters 1 is masters division, they usually are more tight, they don't expose themselves as much, right? Because they're thinking more. You know, if they expose, they're gonna get tired. And how quick are they gonna recover? The adults are going crazy. Mm-hmm. They're going here, they're going there, they're jumping, they're doing backflip, front flip. You know, the adults is crazy. If you don't have energy at that age, I mean, there's something wrong with you, you know. So it's a difference. It's a good thing. So one time I was talking to Kyle in at a video chat, and he said, man, when I was adult, I was going crazy. When I'm master, I'm older, more mature, think more wisely, and I'm gonna win the match in the way of a better strategy. You know, mm-hmm. It's not how hard you go, right? It's how you put the strategy to work.
One of the things that and I know you and Professor Dave think I'm just absolutely nuts. One of the things that I've been trying to work on is my wind and the stamina. That's why, you know, when I train with you, I'll just speak to you. When I train with you, I try to start off real quick just to see how long I can last with you by being so experienced as a black belt. And I always manage to tap me out. I'll just throw that out there. But I try to get myself in a position to where I know I'm going to, I say fail, but I'm talking about the stamina and the energy to keep moving. So I'm trying to do that just to see if I could just keep up and go that extra 7 minutes, 6 minutes, 10 minutes. Do you think that's a mistake on my part, or should I just work on the game that I'm putting together?
Man, for you to build stamina is very simple. If Professor Bruno, he'll give you a whole class about that.
I know.
He's
I know.
black belt on that. I don't even like to talk to him because I don't have enough argument at that point. So he always tells me this, man. How do you build stamina running?
Consistency. Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. All right.
How do you build stamina swimming?
Swim.
So the only way to build stamina is jiu-jitsu, right? So how much sparrings you do is how much you're working on to get that. I'm not a professional at that. You know, that's what Bruno told me. He's the professional. But it's how much you put to train, man. You're only going to build endurance if you do 10 sparrings or 5 sparrings or 3 sparrings, and it has to be consistent. When you see that 3 sparrings become easier, it's time to go up. It's time to make 4 sparrings. It's time to make 5 sparrings. You know, when you see the 5 sparring is going already good, it's time to go up. But it's not saying that you have to go 130% on each sparring. It's about maintaining consistency, right? Mm-hmm. Because each sparring can be different. I train with you, it's going to be different than Professor Dave or Professor Flavio train with you, mm-hmm. right? So you're going to have to build your stamina in a strategy way too, you know, like, okay, how can I rest here, right, in this position, and then go a little bit again, you know? So that's the way I think, you know. I don't know if it's right, I don't know if it's wrong. Man, throughout my journey, throughout my training, I was the smallest in the class, man. Used to train with guys like bigger than you, man. I said, man, I'm not strong enough like that. I have to calm the situation down, relax, and put in a situation that's better for me, not for you.
True, because you are so relaxed in whatever position that you're in. One of the things that I like about learning under you right now is you have a monster ground game. My game primarily to this point has been top pressure, work my way to those favorable positions. But I feel like that I could go to the ground just by making a mistake and not taking my opponent down. But I feel confident right now, today, just by being over there, 3 weeks, that I could work off of the back, right now and still be successful. Is that your secret recipe to the way that you go about competing, or is that something that you just take as it comes?
It takes as it comes, my brother. So right now, at the moment, there were phases in my life, that I was horrible on the ground and the best on the top. And there was phases in my color belts that I was horrible on the top and very good on the bottom. But the only way to get to pass through to this phase is putting yourself in those situations, is saying, okay, today I'm going to work on my lasso. Today I'm going to work on my spider. If they pass my guard 20, 30, 40 times, I'm still going to try. If I pass a position in a class, or whoever passes a position in the class for you, is a day for me to try that position, and no matter what, because the more you learn, if you're not going to apply it on the body, you may at least know where are the gaps for you to pass. So like it's a balance. It's a thing, So some of the times I'm like, man, I'm such a good guard passer. Why is my passing horrible right now? What's going on? It's because at the time right there, I have to respect my body and respect my mindset that I have to do guard. And that's where I'm going to do better. And I have to work on my guard. Because my guard, in the back of my head, I was like, man, I'm making some mistakes in my guard. I need to get better at that. My passing is not going to progress. So it's back and forth.
Why is there so much pride in passing the guard when it comes to the Brazilian athlete? Why does no one ever like their guard pass?
Man, there was a guy in Brazil that he told my wife that, and he told me that, and ever since he told me that, I will never forget this. You have to put in your head, if someone passed your guard, they submitted you. The guard is such a complex position. There's so much you can do in your guard. You can tap them out, get to their back, invert the situation, go under them. There's so much they can do. The guy only on the top has to do one little thing. Pass.
Yep.
If you pass their guard, man, sorry about the word, your guard sucks. Your guard sucks. You have to have a guard. It could be half guard, open guard, whatever guard you prefer to do, man. Man, that guard is the most strongest position in jiu-jitsu, if you think about it. There is where you get to the mount. There is where you get to the back. And those are all strong positions as well. When we teach tiny champs, we always say the best three positions is what? Mount, back, and guard. But, when you're on your back, in a self-defense aspect, or even in sword jiu-jitsu, right? There's so much gravity against you. You have to know how to deal with that. So, for me, in my point of view, man, if you get your guard passed, you did or something wrong, or the guy was very quick and you're not able to recover, but your guard needs to be sharp. If your guard is not sharp, they're going to pass. And if you can pass, you're not able to recover, they're going to mount. And if mount is the strongest position in jiu-jitsu as well, they're going to tap you out. If you give your back, they're going to tap you out. So your guard is the main thing, It's from there, and then using, there's different styles. There's the takedown style to pass, or there's if there's the way you pull and you go to the back. But in my point of view, I'm small, I'm not big. I cannot take you down that easy, so I'm gonna pull. There's gonna be more opportunities for me,
A couple weeks ago, you were showing us some details about when your opponent tries to pass your guard. I have been dreaming about and thinking about that and putting that into my game ever since. It's amazing how those small details can make you more successful.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Bruno said something in the class, man, that for the kids, it's true, man. It's true. Details will make you win. Details will make you thrive to success. Those little details, and whatever you do in your life, they're gonna be the difference. Because maybe sometimes you're here, you don't focus on the details on the things, and then you don't have past a good experience. Or you're in the class and I don't show the details of the certain positions, you're not gonna get the position the right way. You're gonna be doing the position a little bit more sloppy. So the details and everything in life, in my point of view, will make the difference,
You care about those details. You care about those details. And I like that because it's teaching me how to slow down in certain situations and pick up on those little details, react, recognize when they're happening. That has helped me a lot just by slowing down, showing those details.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Professor.
All right. So it's been it's been something very good too. Is it's not only about detail. It's good to be observant too. You know. So if you're observant, that means you observe the detail. So observe. It's around. Look around and see what's going on. You know, and how to translate to the mat. You know.
Mm-hmm. Success. You are now a school owner. What is your next goal, and what are you excited about more? We spoke about it in the beginning, but what is on the roadmap for North Phoenix coming up?
Man, North Phoenix is gonna be thriving. You know, it's gonna be thriving towards this. Give me 1 second.
No, you're
Benjamin's
good.
here.
Wave to the camera, Benjamin. Wave to the camera. Just you don't wave. He's like.
So the question was that where is North Phoenix going to be, man? I'm super excited to where it's going to be. It's been growing a lot, you know. It's been growing a lot, you know. I couldn't, if I get 3 years back, I could not see where North Phoenix was now, you know. Mm-hmm. And I'm super excited to see what's gonna happen in my position, you know, and how can I pass this on to other people that are working at the school. So right now I have like I'm just going to be super excited for Coach Russ. You know, Coach Russ is going to be having his own school, and I can't wait to see where he's going to be, you know. So if I'm able to see the people I love, you know, and the people around me having those success, I'm going to be very happy, and I'm going to make the school grow even more. Yep. You know, it's not only about me, you know, it's about people around me. That's what the most things that I am, and that says a lot to my personality. I care about every single person that comes to this door. I care about every single person that works with me. I care about every single person that's around me. So sometimes this is a saying from my father, you know. My father says this a lot, and it stuck with me very well, you know. He said for his family, he will take an arm and cut it out for the family. And not only for his family, for the entire world. So I'm a lot like that. If I have to cut my arm, you know, and say, hey, here you go, I'm going to do it, you know. So it's striving my success based on other people's success as well.
It's tough to find someone that has those messages from their parents for such a long time ago. It seems like we're in such a fast pace today. Do you normally reflect back on those important people in your life and how they have guided you and advised you to this point?
Yeah, always.
Good. Professor, Gracie Baja, North Phoenix, Arizona. Thank you so much for stopping by. Bring Benjamin up here so he can get on the camera. Come here,
Benjamin. Let's come here so you can talk a little bit. Come here. You don't want to?
You don't want to talk?
All right. He's shy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Professor. I appreciate you stopping by.
It was a great time.
Thank you.